Alright, it's pretty windy out here, but I want to show you this 2010 Nissan Titan of mine that I am looking to sell here soon. It's pretty windy outside, so you might not be able to hear me too well, but I'm going to do a kind of a quick walk around of the truck. I'm going to go around it once, just completely, and then kind of try to walk around and point out a couple of the defects or any of the kind of small imperfections that you might see. It is running right now, and it's got 106,540 miles currently, probably close to 10. Well, I'm not driving it too much right now, so it should stay pretty close to that, but it's very clean inside. I'll show you that more in just a second. Start with showing the engine. It's running now. Runs excellent. This engine, I would not be surprised if it runs for 350,000 more miles, but it is due for a new battery. I have not replaced that yet. I'm not sure what will be replaced by the time it sells or not, but it's probably due. It just starts a little more slowly than it should. But yeah. I'll walk around here. The headlights, I replaced those with some aftermarket ones just because I kind of wanted to, and I still have the original headlights as well. Those will go with the truck. It's got brand new running boards. I just had those replaced. The other ones were getting kind of corroded, and just wanted to have those replaced. So those are brand new. Walk around here. Paint's in good condition for the most part. Some little dings and scratches like you'd expect for the age of the truck. Tires I replaced when I got the truck. Got maybe 20,000 miles on them. They are in great shape though. They're all-terrain Kumho Road Venture tires. Chrome's in good condition. All the wheels are in good shape. It's got a full size spare underneath, not in that actual alloy rim, but a steel rim. Alright, to try to point out some imperfections, I've noticed this past winter, at the end of the winter, there's a couple little bubbling spots under here where there was some rust coming through. Well, a little pinhole from underneath, I think. But what I did was I went ahead and I scratched off any of that paint rust, and I actually used a little Dremel tool and kind of cut out a bit more of that material and kind of filled it in and touched it up there. So that is something that probably in the next year or two you might want to address, or a lot of people just drive it like it is and it should be in good shape. That's same thing on this tailgate. There was just a little bit of rust bubbling through there. What I did is I went ahead and took the tailgate off and ground down all the rust along the bottom. There's just surface rust all through there, and then I kind of cut in underneath. I can go through that in more detail as you wish, but what I did then was just put some bed liner, painted in bed liner after I scraped out as much of that, any possible corrosion as I could. It's good for what it is. I don't think you'll have any major issues with it for probably a couple, 2-3 years at least, and even if it does, it's not going to come through that bed liner material. But yeah, I just painted that clean, just a clean stripe underneath there. It had this tonneau cover. This is a cheaper tonneau cover. It works pretty well actually, but I got it off of eBay as one of the cheaper ones, but and as a result the mounting hardware was incorrect, and so this is what came with it, these cheapo ones, and it was built for one with a utility rack, which this does not have, or utility track they call it. So I went on Amazon and got some kind of sturdy kind of clamps, tonneau cover clamps to use. And so they're holding up pretty well, but it's a cheap tonneau cover. But otherwise the bed is in great shape. It's bed lined. And it has that soft close or soft open, so I don't have to actually mess with it. I've never gotten that lock to work. I don't know if I'm just not using it correctly, but I've never bothered with it too much. This is the same thing on the other side. That same spot right there kind of bubbled out, and the paint actually flaked off. I can talk to you more about that in detail as well. Again, those running boards are brand new. I got those off of eBay too, but they seem of high quality. Again, there's those road venture tires. They've got good tread on them. Almost pretty much no cracking on it. I replaced this antenna with the shorter one. I just like the look. It doesn't block your view as much. The antenna reception comes in great. These here, these trim pieces, is rubber piece, and it was starting to corrode, and I actually just recently took those off and I painted those myself. You'll see there. That should, it helps, just cleans up the look of it a little more. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, I'll show you where the truck, when I got it originally, it was hitting this front corner. It had kind of run into something just a little. It cracked up, broke off that piece, and it bent the bumper just a bit underneath. That bumper was straightened. New one of this was put on, painted. Got a new fender painted. And then the door had just a little bit of a bend from probably opening the door into that fender. And so we repainted that and repaired it. So this door was painted, this was painted, this was painted. Pretty good paint job, except for there's just a little flaking of that clear coat. So I got that issue with my body, man. But underneath, we ended up replacing all of that suspension components. I just replaced the shock, the control arm, the steering knuckle, and then sway bar end links and tie rod. All of that was replaced. I have, besides one of the bolts was loosening backing out from it and was causing noise, but other than that, it's just, we tightened that back up. And this truck has been flawless since I've owned it, really. It's just a nice little workhorse of a truck. Let me show you the inside on this side here quick. And then we'll show you the inside on the other side. So I just recently detailed it. So it's not perfect, but it's very clean. Quite clean. So that door opens all the way. You got the rear seat. I mean, the rear seat's in perfect shape. I barely have had passengers in this vehicle, no kids or anything. I did have my dog back here sometimes, but I went through. You'll see a couple hairs in there, but for the most part, I used to detail cars for a living, so I got that cleaned out pretty good. The door card here is in pretty much perfect shape. Little edge there. I like this, where this front seat folds down for your workstation there. Otherwise you pull that up. Manual seat on this side, but that seat is in perfect shape almost. Well, pretty much perfect. Interior is clean. You'll see I got that aftermarket speaker there. I'm kind of into my audio and stereo, and from the factory this sound system was just pretty muddy sounding. Not the best, so I ended up replacing pretty much the entire stereo. Well, all of the factory stereo speakers I replaced. That includes these tweeters up here. Nothing real fancy Rockville. That's kind of a somewhat budget but still a quality brand, or at least somewhat quality speaker. I replaced these speakers down there were Sirwin Vegas, and the rear door speakers with Rockford Fosgate, and they just sound really clear and powerful. But anyway, that's just kind of a little added bonus for you guys, I guess. The speakers all together were probably a couple $100 and maybe, and then installation, but solid sounding stereo. And if you replace this with one of those factory, would have done this if I were going to keep the vehicle any longer, but put one of those aftermarket touchscreens in there, and you'd really open up the sound system even more. Again, this vehicle, it's 4-wheel drive. This driver's seat, I had this replaced. This piece, I was starting to get some wearing to where it's wearing through, so I thought, well, and plus the padding was kind of beat down a little bit, so I just went ahead and had my an upholstery guy that I met here had that replaced, the cloth, and then had that padding built back up, and he went ahead and there's a little bit of a wear spot, or not sure what that was from, but I didn't replace this, but all the padding's been filled and kind of redone, and all the way up along here. Excuse me, allergies getting to me, but all this padding along here has been redone. Okay, so I'm gonna try to not make this video too long here for you, but we'll just go ahead and drive it through around this little park and get it out on the road just a bit for you so you can kind of see how it drives. But I mean, this thing, it's just kind of would be a workhorse for somebody. I drove this thing for the most part just as a part of the reason I'm selling it is because I don't really use it for don't really have as much of a use for it as I had thought, or at least I haven't been using it much. For the most part, I bought it with, I think, 82,000 miles, somewhere around there, and I've taken it on some trips to Colorado and back, done some trips out to down to Arkansas, and really just been driving it kind of out on the highway, and then I'll take it to work a couple times a week or so. Went back to Iowa once or twice, back where I'm from, and really just been just been having it sit in the side spot. Otherwise, for the most part, I'll give it a little bit of gas. I mean, it's just, I've really babied the truck otherwise, but this thing is, motor is very strong. Like I said, I see a lot of these Titans, these 5.6s, I'm sure if you know, looking at them, you'll see a lot of them with 350,000 miles or more on there. And this one, I just had the spark plugs changed. I mean, it's just regular oil changes. Originally, when I got the truck, I flushed or at least replaced the transmission fluid, rear diff fluid. Went through and just did about everything. I had my mechanic get it kind of all sorted. Steering is solid, suspension is solid. like I said, I originally replaced some of those front suspension components on the side that was kind of hit. But since then, it drives straight. I think during the first winter that I had it, I hit a piece of ice going through, one of those frozen pieces of ice underneath the snow, and I heard some noise from it, and it turned out it was just one of the sway bar end links kind of had loosened at one of the bolts, and so that was tightened up, and other than that, it's just, nothing going wrong with it. So I mean, this should be a very solid vehicle for somebody for years to come. But we've got a nice compass up there. You got all your controls here. This is the SE model, which is kind of the mid-level. I've got power driver's seat with lumbar support. It's got the tow package, but yeah, otherwise, if anybody has any specific questions, let me know. Got new wiper blade. Well, the wiper blades were replaced back when I got the vehicle, and they're solid. It does have Bluetooth for calling and taking calls, and it doesn't play the music through that. I've got actually one of those Bluetooth adapters where you just kind of plug it in and you can connect your phone through that way. But other than that, you could, like I said, you just get one of those touchscreen players there, and it should be solid. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this video helped you out, and yeah, without boring you too much. But all right, take care. Let me know if you have questions or if you're interested. And again, in this time, I'm going to make sure that well, I'll be sitting out in the sun to kind of kill off stuff, but otherwise I'll make sure to disinfect everything before somebody's going to take a look at it. And yeah, so if you have questions, let me know. Let's make it possible for you to take a look at the truck, and hopefully we can come to a great mutual deal. All right, take care.